Welcome to the Life Turkey podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Life Junkies podcast with me, your host, Mike Brazier, and I am joined by the one, the only, the Northern Soul himself, Chris Johnson. Hello, mate.
Good evening, mate. That's a great intro.
I know, we might do that every time, or I might just insult you next time, I don't know. Chris is with me, so that means one thing. We are talking wrestling. Now, Chris, I've managed to wrangle you down for the first time since Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think we did the Royal Rumble results, didn't we? The review. I think that was the last time.
Yes. So you weren't here for Elimination Chamber, although you did give me your predictions for that one.
I did.
And
I can't remember how I did.
Yeah, I can't remember. I probably insulted you during the results show. This was fine. I would have covered that for you.
Thanks, mate.
And Fastlane, you weren't here for that. Either you sent me your predictions literally 10 minutes after I finished recording the preview show, so good work on that one.
I know, sorry, mate. I've been so busy with work and that. I have watched the shows, I just obviously didn't get a chance to get around to doing this.
How dare you put your work and your family, because one of them went hotel, you were on holiday, sorry. How dare you put your work and your family over this podcast listened to by probably
I'm so selfish.
10 people.
Selfish, mate. That's why I'm selfish.
Actually, you haven't said that. I don't think anyone listens. My one regular listener doesn't listen to wrestling podcasts, so
nice.
He normally listens to the start to hear me and you talk a bit, and then
turns it off.
Yeah, and that's only because I convinced him to. I was like, "Oh, Chris is actually quite interested in you, Joe. Listen to that." So this is a stacked card, and we are talking about two different shows. We've got NXT Takeover New York to talk about. And we have Ridiculous. So we not waste time with an intro, and we jump straight into the NXT Takeover?
Yeah, sounds good, mate.
So first up, we have the NXT Tag Team title. The very random team of Aleister Black and Ricochet taking on the War Raiders. Why are these together? I don't. Have I missed something? And they've said, because I've been watching NXT and I haven't watched the last few episodes. Yes, but they haven't. Even on NXT, they don't seem to explain why these two are together, apart from to fight in the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
No, it's very strange. I mean, I think basically they twisted Vince's arm to get some NXT people onto the main roster, and rather than them having single careers on that and taking up more screen time, they put them together, and they did quite well. And I think they've just run them they've probably run them as a tag team 90% of the time since they've gone on the main roster, and they've done really well. They've lost very few matches actually, and the ones they've lost, they've always been through a bit of skullduggery or something. They've not lost any legit wise. But for me, you know what? I'm not that bothered about Ricochet. I would really like to see Aleister Black just get a proper push, and will it? I don't think he will. That's the trouble. I really don't think he will. I think they'll just keep them together as a tag team for now.
It seems weird, and it seems weird that the tag teams for both NXT and on the main roster, because in NXT these two were top level talents, and there was no storyline reason to put them together. Like, think back to when John Cena and Shawn Michaels were having the match at WrestleMania, and they put them together against Rated RKO, and they won the tag titles for a bit, and they both walked in. But there was a storyline there. There was a reason why they were together. And because they were both backed into tour against Edge and Randy Orton, and so they were put into this title match, and it was central. Imagine if they'd just gone, yeah, you know what, these two are a tag team now, they're just going to tag for a bit. Like, no one would have accepted that. So why he does it with these two, and I know why Vince has done it on the main roster, because I believe that anybody watches it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
These guys have no history. But why it's being sort of mimicked in NXT can only be that Vince has put pressure on Triple H, surely. It's just pointless. And there's so many decent tag teams in NXT that could have taken this a lot. And again, I've missed the last few episodes of NXT, so I'm presuming here that the reason that Black and Ricochet are in this match is because they won the Dutch Classic. So what you're saying there with that victory is that these two random guys that we've just chucked together are a better tag team than all of these tag teams that we were bringing up as tag teams. Like,
well, The other thing is, don't forget, is that so they've also beaten the Raw Tag Team Champions as a tag. They've beaten them on Raw twice, maybe, but not for the belts.
But
So it's not like they're just pushing them on NXT. They're actually pushing the main roster as a good tag team. I don't know. I just don't see why they're doing it. I mean, they both could be good singles wrestlers, but like I said before, I would really like to see Aleister Black giving a proper push. I'd quite like him just to turn around and give one to Ricochet. To be honest, that'd be a good way for him to break out again, and just go on his own.
The main thing it seems is, and we're talking about a lot of women on the main roster because, well, you have to, and maybe we'll talk about a bit more about it later on. We'll talk about their match, but it seems that Vince has just gone, give me guys, I want guys, and then Johnny Gargano and Ciampa have come up, and then Ciampa's had the injury, and sort of they've then forgotten about Gargano because they seem to want them as a team, which makes sense because they have, funny enough, they have tag team history together.
Yeah.
And part of me feels like they didn't really know what to do with Black and Ricochet. And then when the Ciampa injury comes through, and when they realise that he's not going to be able to make it to WrestleMania, they're just going, just push these together. And it feels a bit like they've got DIY's push. I feel like possibly DIY were supposed to be in that team match at WrestleMania. And I reckon DIY were possibly supposed to win the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Both of these would play into the storyline between DIY that Ciampa is slowly turning Gargano back to the dark side. And it would have made sense. And now they've gone, we've got this hole. We didn't really know what we were going to do with these two guys anyway. They're probably going to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal because I don't know where you'd find a slot for them on this card. And any of the matches you think, you'll take that one out. Well, that's not. Those were matches that have been built up before the injury. So ones like Orton Styles or Miz McMahon. So, are you then putting them in for a title match? Are they ready for to take a title off Samoa Joe or Bobby Lashley this early when both of them have only just won the titles? So I don't know what the plans were going to be for them, but yeah, it makes no sense. I don't know about you, or I do know about you because I can see your prediction, but let's not ruin that for the kids listening at home. I feel like they're not going to, or do they? Do they give them the NXT Tag Team titles?
I don't think so, personally. I just can't see why they would do that. I mean, these lads are on Raw and SmackDown every single week. They're on both shows week in, week out. I don't think it makes sense for them to give them the NXT Gold as well and have them on that show defending it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be unlike Vince, though, to give them a title and a short title run just so they can walk into an event with it.
But does Vince have much say on NXT?
I think if he wanted to have say on NXT, he'd have say on NXT.
Yeah, very true, very true. But no, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see it fitting in, to be honest. But yeah, you never know. Like you said, you never know. But the other thing is I've only seen the War Raiders once, and that's when they won the titles, and I really liked them. So I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing this.
We'll see. It's well established on here that you're a bigger fan of War Raiders than I am, but I think it'll be a good match. Like the War Raiders can go. Like, I've never said that they're not good wrestlers. I've just always said that ring psychology needs a bit of work.
Yeah.
But Black and Ricochet, again, two very good guys who are brilliant single, also can be a decent tag team. Yeah, and Vince has had a history of not showing the NXT title on the with people are coming up. So no, I'm going to stick with Raw Raiders.
Snap.
Brilliant. Now the next one is one that I'm really excited about. Like really, really excited about. Like possibly this is, of all the matches of this weekend, this is the one that gets closest to my excitement for the Becky Lynch.
Really?
The Rousey Charlotte. Yeah.
Who is Walter? I'm going to lay my cards on the table here. I have no idea who Walter is.
So I haven't. You know what? This is good. I follow a few of the UK indie promotions and wrestlers on Twitter and stuff. Guys like Jimmy Havoc, promotions like Progress Wrestling, and you see bits and bobs through them and through YouTube and stuff. I've never seen Walter wrestle, but he is coming with a massive word of mouth behind him. He's meant to be really good. And for me, Pete Dunne is one of the best wrestlers in WWE right now. He's really, and I always love his matches, and he is completely different to anyone else on the main roster. Completely.
The only time I've seen Pete Dunne was in the Rumble this year, and he was just walking around breaking people's fingers. It was bizarre.
This is his wrestling style is not suited to the Rumble. He's not like what they should have done is put up someone like Moustache Mountain, the tag team there, because they're brilliant and they're fun and they're over the top, and they are everything that I believe that proper wrestling should be. They're sort of everything done with a bit of tongue in cheek. Pete Dunne is genuinely nasty when he's wrestling, really does, and he does the whole breaking the fingers thing and stamping on. He's like the nasty elements of Shayna Baszler's wrestling turned up to 15. He's like that, and he breaks people down. His matches are really good, really interesting, and he always comes across as a real clever in-ring. I didn't think much of him when I first saw him, when he first walked out on the first NXT, not NXT, the first UK title tournament. Yeah. There's this chap in this, what's the colour you call it? It's not quite red, it's not quite purple. Whatever colour his singlet is. That's it. The old Daniel Bryan colour. It's maroon singlet. And I can't remember. I'm literally looking at my daughter's school bag now, which is the exact same colour. It's the same school I went to when I was
great reference for a podcast, that mate.
I couldn't remember colour. So he comes out in this singlet with, and they're bigging it up. Oh, this is the Bruiserweight. He's really good. He's just been wrestling all around Europe, and he's come back specifically for this tournament. I thought, he's all right, but he's not brilliant, and that was where he lost in the final. I was like, I like him, and then he's grown, and he's done really well with places like Progress. He was the world champion there for a long time, and he's deservedly held this NXT UK title for a long time. But he has held it for a long time. I think it's something like silly, like 500 days. I haven't actually researched it because that would be the act of a professional podcaster, definitely amateur. But so you've got this guy that's got this big buzz behind him, and this guy that I really, really love, and they're going together for this title, and I am really excited. I haven't caught up with NXT UK at all, and I should have, and I'm annoyed at myself I haven't. The first few shows were poor, but it seems to, from what I've seen on Twitter and stuff, it seems to have picked up a bit, and I should be supporting the local wrestling scene. But I barely have got the time to watch NXT itself, let alone NXT UK as well. But I'm really excited about this match, and I'm going for Walter because it's time that Pete Dunne lost that title, and Walter is the only person I can conceivably take it off him.
If Pete Dunne loses the title, will he turn up on Raw or SmackDown next week? Because you always get the week after WrestleMania is normally New Wrestler Week, and you always normally get a few new faces.
I don't think so. The reason I don't think so is because Dunne, Tyler Bate, and a few of the top NXT UK guys have got a really good deal going on at the moment with what they're doing. They're getting paid a decent amount from WWE, and they've just had that amount increased by quite significantly from what I've heard.
Right, okay.
And they're able to work promotions that WWE allows them to. That's basically anyone without a TV deal or anyone of WWE's approved promotion.
Not AEW then.
No, you're not going to see him showing up on Double or Nothing. But
have you watched any of that?
No, not at all. Is it
it's intriguing me actually. It is intriguing me. I've watched. They're doing this thing at the minute. It's like one video a week on the Double or Nothing that they've set up and they're doing. But it's all right. I am probably gonna have to pay and watch it if it's a pay-per-view when it's on.
I watched All In and I enjoyed it, but I don't know if it's the one that's gonna win me over. I'd still prefer to watch Takeover than more All In, if that's the difference.
Yeah, I mean it shows you the wrestlers they're signing each week and stuff like that, and how they go about signing them and why. I don't know. There's something about it. It's just interested me a little bit with Jericho being there as well.
Yeah, I don't know. The problem is I feel the whole thing is maybe a bit self-indulgent for them all, and I worry that it's going to disappear up itself.
Possibly.
And take itself too seriously.
The other thing is if it becomes decent, Vince will just buy it. So I suppose there's always that. He's at the point now where he can pretty much crush anyone. This isn't Vince of the mid-90s where they're really struggling to get through. No. This is Vince, the all-conquering warlord. Yeah, I mean, there's talk of Ambrose going there, wasn't there?
Well, yeah, it's good for wrestlers because it gives them a way to leverage WWE. Who WWE have far too much power over these guys, and they wield it as well. And I don't know if you've heard about the John Oliver thing where he's had a go at WWE about the independent contractor statuses?
No, I haven't. No.
He did a big thing on his show about them, and WWE were not happy. They sent out a statement, a very stroppy statement.
Yeah.
Refuting everything he said. They said, "Oh, we John Oliver team talked to us about this, and we told them that everything they were saying was wrong, and they said it anyway. So we are not happy." Okay, but it's not wrong, is it? It's true. Yeah. So, but anyway.
Sorry, I've took us off.
Yeah, we're now getting close to talking about American employment law when we should be talking about a German and an Englishman having a fight.
I'll still go for Pete Dunne then, by the way.
I see you take that Brexit spirit with you.
How dare you?
Right, so I've got Walter, you've got Pete Dunne. Just in case anyone missed it in that very short and concise segment on the NXT title match. Anyway, from the nice, happy, everyone getting along Isles of Britain, across the pond, the NXT American, where Matt Riddle takes Velveteen.
Look, I was just saying, I'm looking forward to seeing Velveteen Dream.
You haven't seen him wrestle yet, have you?
No, I haven't. No, I've seen a lot of his mic work and bits and bats. I've not actually seen him have a proper wrestling match, so I am looking forward to this. Because I've seen Matt Riddle, and he's good, decent, so this should be good.
Riddle, another Progress alumni. This is a really interesting one. It feels like this has been messed up a bit thanks to Ciampa's injury. I think if Ciampa wasn't injured, this would be Gargano versus probably The Dream in a match, which Gargano would probably win by cheating again. Or maybe it's not. I'm working myself from, because I've put Ciampa and Gargano in 2 matches each now on this card, haven't I? Balls. I'm all over the place. Anyway, what was my point? My point was that I felt Gargano still would have a title. So because he's now to move up to the world title, well, not world title, but men's title, I guess.
How did he just drop the title then?
I haven't got to that episode yet. Thanks, Chris, for pointing my lack of of research for this episode. Cheers. I did sit down the other night and just smashed through a load of. I literally hadn't watched it since the last. I'd watched like 1 or 2 since the last takeover. So the other night I literally sat through and smashed it. As you know, that I did for the last takeover podcast we did. I sat there and I watched like 7 or 8 episodes in 3 days. So I'm like 3 or 4 episodes away from being up to date with it. So yeah, he hasn't yet dropped the title. But this match itself is really interesting because they've only just given the title to Velveteen Dream. He obviously made sense to be the one to take it from Gargano, and he is considered one of the top guys. Whereas Riddle in the middle of a very big push, and so it's one of those ones I think is quite hard to call. Yeah. I've written down Dream, and I've written down Dream through dodgy means or through something happening. What I mean there is Dream retaining, not necessarily winning. Might be a DQ finish like that, but I'm moving more towards Matt Riddle winning and Dream moving up to fight for the main title. Okay.
I put Dream just because I didn't think they'd switch the title again so soon, to be honest.
You're just picking guys because you know them. Like Dream, I know him. I haven't seen him wrestle yet. I'll go for him.
I'm using WWE common sense, which is I just don't see him flip-flopping the title again so quickly. Okay. So I'm just thinking they'll stick it with him for a while.
Can you use common sense in a company that booked a World Cup of wrestling, only American-born wrestling, in which Shane McMahon won while not even in the tournament?
True. Very, very true.
It's so ridiculous that you can't ever be mad at them because it might just be genius. It hasn't yet proven to be, but it might be.
True.
It's led to Miz getting over the face. Miracle.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm changing my. I'll type it later, and I'll probably forget to. So I said Velveteen.
I'll remember. Don't worry.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure if you can make it on next week anyway. If you're not jetting off to the Algarve.
Nowhere to go next week, mate, as far as I know.
So, NXT Women's title. Yes. We have Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair versus Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. So where I've got to on NXT, they are building up the tension with these 4 women quite nicely. They've had Shirai, Belair and Sane band together on the team against Baszler, Jessamine Duke and the other one who's escaping at the moment. And what they're showing is that what we've been doing is bringing the crack. So they're on a tag team match against them, and they're all fighting over who gets the pin, and there is issues afterwards, and all this. So they are sowing the seeds of tension. Presumably, within the last 3 or 4 episodes, that has exploded, and they've now come to this 4-woman match. I'm not too sure how excited I am for this.
I don't really know Shirai or Sane, however you pronounce it. To be honest, I remember Bianca Belair is the one who uses her hair as a whip. Is it not?
Yep.
I thought she was all right. Yeah, so I thought she did all right against Baszler. Was that the Raw Rumble? Was that the Raw Rumble NXT?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she did quite well there. The other two I'm not too sure about, but I still just think that why would you take the title off her? Unless Baszler's leaving. But if not, then why take the title off her? I just don't see it.
So Kairi Sane is the one that thinks she's a pirate.
Okay, yeah, I know what that is.
And she comes out with a big wheel and a telescope and looks like a
so
prat.
you're not gonna make her a champion.
She was champion.
Oh, well, just delete that bit.
she pinned Shayna Baszler to win the title off her, and then Baszler took it back. I think I like Sane.
Not a proper champion then.
She doesn't strike me. You look at who you've got on them. You look at the 3 women. You have these proper serious.
Yeah.
And Kairi Sane coming out with a stupid smile and a telescope, or there's probably something else. Our non-existent listener will get in touch and tell me it's not a telescope, but. She just looks a prat, and it's all very fun and all very cute and all that, but that's not a wrestler's gimmick, is it? It's not.
No, not for me.
Ira Shirai, the main thing I know about her, she was in the Mae Young Classic. Is that what they call the women's tournament? Yeah. And I believe she got to the final.
Yeah, I know she is now. I said that.
Possibly through or the semi-final, and she's the one that keeps missing her moonsaults. Yeah, but I'm with you.
Unless
go on.
I was just going to say, unless those 3 team up and take Baszler out, I don't see how any of them beat her.
Well, surely as it's a 4-way match, that it's no DQ as well.
So she won't be outnumbered
from getting involved, and like they probably won't, because WWE forget and remember that these matches are no DQ whenever they fancy it, but. Yeah. Technically, in the rule book, this is a no DQ match. No DQ, no count out.
Oh, okay.
I don't see any of those 3 as champions. Like you look at the women that have held this title before them, going back. You've got Kairi Sane. Let's ignore her because she's been a champion, but I didn't see her as a champion when she was champion. You've got Ember Moon, who was really good on NXT. Who did when she held the title against Baszler, because they had a little feud before Baszler took her, so Ember Moon beat her once or twice. Yeah. She did the good face champion carrying a title, and I'm standing up for my division. She did that really well. So Ember Moon's really good. Ember Moon took it off, but she won it after Asuka vacated it. And Asuka, my feelings, Asuka. She's one of the best female wrestlers in the company, possibly in the world. And then she won it off Bayley. Bayley won it off Sasha Banks. These are all women that stood out and were really good. Again, it hasn't always translated to the main roster because Vince, but they all really stood out and they're all really good in NXT. None of these other 3 women stand out to me. They haven't got a crowd backing really. No one takes them seriously. I can't see Baszler losing this. Sorry.
No, me neither.
Yeah. So
tick.
Both back for Baszler. So the NXT men's title: Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano for the vacant belt. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I think Gargano wins because of my weird logic, and WWE logic is that I don't think he did well enough when he went up to the roster that Vince would take him up there permanently, and I think he's a big enough character to lead NXT and be the champion for quite a while. Probably until Ciampa comes back.
This is a good chance for him to maybe win the title, turn face again, and maybe get another few matches out of him because, you won the title in my absence. Yeah. I don't know. I'm saying I don't really know what to say about it because I don't really know what to say about it. I haven't seen any of the build up to this because where I've got to, Ciampa still hasn't dropped the title. Yeah. So I haven't seen any of the build up. What I do know is Adam Cole is one of the best talent in NXT. He's one of a few superstars. He's probably the only superstar I've seen. But I can actually see him having a similar if he gets the breaks. I've gone for Johnny Gargano. I'm not entirely sure that's the right move. I think possibly what they would do is give him a short run with the belt before he then moves up to when they've built that space for him in the post-WrestleMania shuffle. Then that gives Ciampa an excuse to start a feud with him on the main roster, where they can do something a little bit different there when he comes back from injury. So push both of those two guys up, and they both have a go. Because for Ciampa, this is it. If he comes back from this injury, because he's an older guy, so he's not a spring chicken. We forget that a lot of these guys coming up have had long indie careers. Guys like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Ciampa. They've been doing the indies for decades. So I think then they'll do their feud there. And these two are linked in the same way that Zayn and Owens always will be linked. They'll always be around each other somewhat. But yeah, and then at the next NXT TakeOver, I think then we'll see Adam Cole take the belt himself and start the reign of the Undisputed Era, and they will sort of start to take over NXT. That's my belief.
Okay, nice. It's good that you've shown your working, mate. That's all I can say.
Oh, you've got to pad out this podcast a bit. I know we've got a lot of shows to get to, but you know,
mate, we've been speaking about American employment law, and we've done enough padding out. To be fair.
Right, but we're both going for Johnny Gargano.
Yes,
it's brilliant. We have agreed on more matches than we discussed this before. We're supposed to disagree.
Yeah, there's only one. I think you might find I predicted first this week. This
I think you'll find you predicted first on the WrestleMania card. I predicted first on the NXT card.
Maybe.
Yeah, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm gonna take a quick break to get another bit, and we'll be back to talk about the WrestleMania undercard, the parts of it that I've designated.
You're listening to Life Junkies podcast.
And we are back for part one. That was a nice intro talking about NXT. So let's get to that WrestleMania goodness. Chris, how do you see this card panning out overall? What are your thoughts looking at it?
It's a big card. There's some good matches on there. There's some average things on there, like the Battle Royals and stuff like that, which obviously I'm not a massive fan on.
Kind.
It is very kind, but the one thing what I've thought when I've looked through it is, and if you go back to 2-3 months ago when Vince and Shane and Stephanie came out and said, we want to change WWE, we're going to listen to the fans, we're going to make it better. And I just wonder if all these storylines have been heading to this old school WrestleMania where all the faces are going to get pushed over. Like a big feel-good pay-per-view. Because if you look through that card, in it you've got Roman Reigns coming back from his illness. You've got Kurt Angle's last ever match. Finn Balor's always a massive favourite. Seth Rollins going up against the Beast. You've got Becky Lynch against all odds winning the title. Styles is the big favourite. Boss and Hug are the big fans' favourites. Miz is now a big face. And then the latest one is Kofi, him as well. So they could make it a massive feel-good. Look everybody, the good guys win. Personally, I think that'll be a terrible WrestleMania. But I just wonder if the way they've made the card that is good against bad is all going to end up that way.
I think this WrestleMania is going to be a bit like Brexit. It's going to be painful for everyone involved, and it'll never end.
Wow! Can they use that quote for the DVD instead afterwards?
They can use it on the show.
Yeah.
Just me sat there going.
So yeah,
that's what we need to do. Put everyone in Brexit, and we'll do about it. And whoever's the last one standing gets to choose what we do.
Yeah, probably. But no, I don't know, mate. I looked through the card every now, and I was like, oh yeah. It's like that, you know. And you could see them going full on kiddie, happy faces on every fight, every match. But we'll see.
I agree with you, and I think to jump into the first match, I think the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, we are going to see it won by one of the greatest faces in the history of wrestling.
Oh, I'm not saying it.
Hornswoggle.
Unbelievable.
And, Braun Strowman will probably But why go for the boring choice, Chris?
No.
Why not in a match that I don't care about, the WWE don't care about, no one really cares about? Why be serious?
They've actually got 2 comedians competing off the Saturday Night Live show, haven't they?
Oh, that was the skit with Braun Strowman where he's going to break one of them in half.
They're actually in the Battle Royal.
This is a match where with no consequences. You look at who we had win it so far. We had Matt Hardy last year. Was it No, it's Baron Corbin the year before. Mojo Rawley before him, because that's when we had the mess with Rob Gronkowski helping him win. Do you know who was before that? Was there before that?
I don't know if there was a before that, was there?
But there's never any pushes for anyone who wins this.
No.
There is never any storylines that result. Never mentioned again.
No, it's bizarre. It's the worst trophy I've ever seen. Some wooden Andre the Giant that's painted gold. Yes, it looks horrific. The only thing I've been thinking, actually, it wouldn't surprise me if those Saturday Night Live to end up getting Braun Strowman over the top rope as a bit of a skit, and then they'll end up out. I said earlier Braun would win it but thinking about it, I think Mustafa Ali might win it because he's had a big push this year.
Right, so I need to take a direct answer. I need you to lock in your answer here, Chris.
I'm locking in Mustafa Ali.
So, for £1,000, you've gone for Mustafa Ali.
That is it. That's what I'm going for. And I need a proper pick from yourself.
No, I'm going Hornswoggle. I'm sticking to my Hornswoggle.
Right, fine. But yeah, it'll be average.
Hornswoggle hasn't signed for AEW.
AEW? No, I haven't seen him on anything.
I'm sure he's been doing. I'm sure there was something I remember him doing.
Maybe I haven't seen that.
Brilliant. So yeah, so that match. So for one pointless match, it doesn't matter.
It's on the preview show in it as well, I suppose. So that's just forget about it.
The next pointless match of the matter is the Battle Royal.
I agree.
I have one note for this. It's a very simple note. Oscar better win this because they owe her. I won't. I'm trying not to swear, so I won't put the words I've put down here. But if she doesn't win this, she may as well just quit, shouldn't she?
Yeah, she can't be very happy that they've made her drop a title like that on SmackDown to Charlotte Flair, which is a strange. We'll come on to it later, but it's a strange decision. The only thing I've put Oscar, but then I've made a side note that if Lacey Evans is competing, then for me, I think she'll win it. Because they've been doing this weird thing for about 2 months now where every episode of Raw or SmackDown, whether it be through Alexa Bliss's Moment of Bliss or whether it be through a match or somebody in the ring talking, her music hits, she walks down the aisle, turns around, walks back and goes away. That's it. Never says anything, never does anything, just does that. So I have no idea why they're doing that. I can't understand it.
This is supposed to be for her. They're getting ready for a big push.
Yeah, but why keep doing that? It doesn't make any sense.
Do it because they've been doing it since since Royal Rumble, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
The idea was apparently of doing it at Rumble was that it was to let the audience know that she's a big deal. I don't know how it lets you a big deal. Maybe it gets her attention, possibly.
Yeah.
But to keep doing it is a joke.
Mm-hmm. They need another. They need a new main event female on SmackDown. Because they've lost their two to Raw, haven't they?
Have they? The brands?
Possibly, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, because there have been a couple of crossovers last week, so maybe.
Just pointing this out, guys, I've talked about the title situation in the end of the split in a video on our YouTube channel. So if you'd like to check that out, the link will be at the end of the show. If you're watching us on YouTube.
So, yeah, that's the one thing. I think Oscar, but if Lacey Evans is competing, I'm going to say she's going to win it.
I quite like, just at a point, to talk about Lacey Evans a little bit because I've said enough about Oscar. Everyone knows how much I love Oscar. I've made this podcast. I'll do it again when we talk about the main event. She should have been in it, but I'm a fan of Lacey Evans. I don't know why they do that. She's not. Is she the best wrestler in the world? No, but she's a good wrestler in the ring. She's got an interesting character. She's actually got a character, which is probably why Vince has got her doing this thing because he can't deal with anyone with an actual character.
Yeah,
they don't know how to write for these people. She's got quite a bit of character. She's a former Marine. She comes out as this sort of Southern Belle, quite retro, glam.
Yeah.
She's very pretty, and she's good on the mic as well. I think she's on the mic, and she was doing. I wouldn't have brought her up quite so soon. I felt she needed a bit more time in NXT. and she would have been a legitimate challenger to Shayna Baszler.
Mm.
So why they brought her up just to wander out for a bit? Yeah, it strikes me that they don't really know how to write for her, and they don't really know what to do with her. Where she's a ready-made character there for them, and they just can't deal with it because they don't know what to do. Yeah, so it's a shame what they've done with her, but I'm still going Oscar.
Okay.
Please, Oscar.
We shall see.
So, I've put these somewhat in an order of pointlessness to least pointless, I guess. I've done it in order of normal matches to give it matches a break, and then we'll talk about the title matches. Boom.
Okay.
So the next one up is Corbin versus Kurt Angle. God, this is a waste of an opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. You mean by not bringing back somebody decent for him to
by
wrestle?
letting him have some really good matches leading up to WrestleMania, and having him fight against Baron Corbin.
I know. Unbelievable.
It's not even like these guys had a proper feud before, because they never really had that feud. They were sort of like a little bit of one-upsmanship, but that was it.
Yeah, it's poor. It is poor. I don't know. I mean, obviously Kurt decided he's packing in, and I thought they might have thought something like Cena, or just meant, brought somebody back as a big WrestleMania moment for him just to finish beating somebody like that. But to go out beating Baron Corbin is not the greatest ending for him, is it?
Kurt's had issues, it's fair to say, but he is without a doubt a WWE legend.
Yeah, definitely.
As well as he's an Olympic gold medalist. He was part of some of the best skits from
it was funny.
His time in WWE. He transitioned to his character and this is something when I first started watching wrestling. I'm going to talk about this a bit in a bit as well. It was right in the middle of that John Cena title reign. He was right. I am Cena. I'm winning, and everyone was already getting bored of him. And it was in the middle of him versus Chris Jericho. That feud.
Yeah.
That feud, because there was no progression there. Chris Jericho was playing a fairly basic, stereotypical heel.
Yeah.
And Cena just kept getting the better of him in the matches, and that was it until he got annoyed and got himself on a loser leaves Raw match so he could go off and do Fozzy stuff. With Kurt Angle, there's an actual character progression there with him, and this doesn't have to always be in wrestling, but you've got to find other ways to make it interesting. You've got to tell a story with it, and they didn't with Chris Jericho, but with Kurt Angle they really did. And his story was he came out and he was, I'm Kurt Angle, I'm the best, I'm the goddess, I'm going to beat you, and then he couldn't.
Yeah.
And he came up against the same, but he changed his character to reflect that, and he became obsessed, and he became a bit unhinged over the world title. I know about John Cena, and it all led up to him again. One of my favourite ever visuals in WWE of him in the Elimination Chamber, banging his head against the glass while literally foaming at the mouth. And that was the evolution from I'm the gold medalist, I'm the greatest, I can do this, because it was a favour for Bischoff, really. It was the Bischoff versus Cena feud, to that obsessive maniac in a pod was really good. And this is the Kurt Angle who not only was he an actual genuine wrestler, he had that weight behind him, and he was very good in the ring. He was also quite a good character actor.
He was. He was very good.
Really funny. He was one of those really lucky finds.
Yeah. Remember this stuff with the milk?
Yeah,
remember the milk with the truck and the milk and all that? That was crap.
The sexy Kurt.
Yeah.
Which will never fail to cheer me up, no matter how I'm feeling.
No, he's been great. I wonder what they'll do with him.
I think.
Yeah. You don't think he'll come back as a general manager or anything then?
Nah, I don't think. And I felt sad too.
Yeah. I expect he'll probably be the host of next year's WrestleMania.
Possibly. Who's the host of this year's WrestleMania?
Alexa Bliss. Yeah.
I think she's having concussion-related issues, which is why she's not wrestling.
She probably saved it, to be honest, because she'd have got forgotten about with the current 3.
Yeah. It's a shame.
She'll probably find... Well, if she does come back, she'll find herself on SmackDown, if it's still a split brand.
But the point I was trying to make, let's get back to it's me getting back to the point for one. The point I was trying to make with Kurt Angle was that you look at guys like Shawn Michaels, his last match.
Yeah.
And Ric Flair, last match. Even you look at Stratus, their last match, the opponent would be fitting.
Yeah, I agree.
To go out to Baron Corbin, they could have quite easily done someone coming up. Hell, even AJ Styles or Samoa Joe coming across and going, Kurt, your time is done. I'm taking you out.
Yeah.
And having going out, I'd rather him go out losing someone decent that has history than
Yeah.
beating Baron Corbin.
Even something like Randy Orton.
Even someone like Randy Orton,
You
who is
know.
at least someone who can actually wrestle.
Yeah.
Corbin has nothing. Corbin has a very good finisher. Very good. That's all he's got.
True. I would. Undertaker's the one that should have brought it back to finish him off.
Nah, Undertaker's done.
Don't say things like that, or I'll disconnect this.
Did you not see? Did you watch the whatever it's called? I don't know what the event was called, but the X versus Brothers of Destruction match. Or have you watched any highlights? Because I've seen highlights from it.
I'm seeing it. I watched it all.
Painful to watch. How can you watch that and still think the Undertaker can go?
He could still go. Wrestlemania.
Oh,
told you.
Boy hopes brings
I always want him to come back, mate. I live in hope. Hope.
My issue with the Undertaker. We've had this discussion on messages on Slack. All he's done now in the past few years tarnish his reputation. He was the Phenom, the big, scary, and when he gets in the ring and he can't move properly, and he's not being properly protected in that ring. Say, like for example, the John Cena match, that was alright because he was protected. It was short, and Cena is an intelligent enough wrestler to know how to work. But he wasn't protected in Saudi Arabia. He wasn't protected in against Roman Reigns because they're not able to. Saudi Arabia wasn't protected because the only guy in the match that could go was Kane.
He will have another match. He's not done. There's no way on this world he's going out losing back-to-back matches at pay-per-views. Especially he's not going to go out losing one out in Saudi Arabia. He will come back and he will have a match and he will go out winning. But who that match is against, I don't know. Probably against Triple H, but we'll see.
Oh God, no! That's the worst of all.
That's probably what would happen because Triple H would want it just because he likes being in the boy, doesn't he? The main man.
Depends who we think is winning later on, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, well, don't forget he's the boss, so he can just. Yeah, it matters not.
Okay, so I think we're both going with Kurt Angle in this match.
Yes,
if they have Kurt Angle go out losing to Baron Corbin, it would nearly be as big an injustice as Oscar is facing currently.
True.
Next, I have Randy Orton versus Jay Styles. Quick question: is this a waste of a match on such a stacked card?
Yeah, this is a classic WWE rush to the match thing. They could have built this up for 2 or 3 months. Really, you could have had, comments bumping into each other. You could have built it up to make it a bigger match, but instead they can't have a WrestleMania card without AJ Styles on it. He had nowhere else to go, so they've rushed it forward. It'll still be a good match. They're both good wrestlers. I'd like Orton to win. I don't think he will though, but I would like Orton to win. Like I've just said, they've just rushed it. There has been a bit of background, but not much. It could have been better, and it's just going to be a match. And I'm guessing when it's finished, they'll never face each other again. Or next week on SmackDown, they'll both be up against somebody else.
It's just like, do you remember we used to build up matches to WrestleMania for years? And there are a couple of matches in this card which have been quite well built.
Yes.
But this is just sort of, oh no, I suddenly don't like you because of the thing you've been saying for 2 years.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They could have built it up for longer and made a proper feud, but they've just rushed it to get AJ Styles and Randy Orton on the WrestleMania card.
Would it have been more interesting for them to not do it and not do the build-up and have these guys just carry on doing their thing?
Yeah.
And then have someone like AJ or Randy Orton come out on the show itself and just go, you know what? Why haven't I got a match in this card? Anyone that's come out and face me now, come out and we'll have a go.
Yeah.
And then the other person comes out and they just that is the build-up to a match, because instead of just going, oh, well, these guys, we need to get these two on the show, let's have them fight, cool, make up something. You've then got someone coming out and telling you how important having a match on any card is.
Yeah.
This is important, give me a match, and then they get a match. Both
Yeah.
these guys are big enough to have that, in storyline-wise, have that sort of sway.
True. They just needed to give it more time to breathe and just let it build up instead of just rushing it. It'll be a good match. It'll be alright, It'll be okay. It'll be one of them where on such a stacked card, I'll be like watching the clock.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the promos that these guys have been doing leading up to. They seem to be doing well, but then they both can do it.
It's good. It's a good little thing. You've got how they've done it as well. Quite nice. You've got obviously Randy saying to AJ, "Look, you're nothing but an indie wrestler." When you were wrestling in school gyms, Randy Orton was main eventing WrestleMania. So they're doing that kind of argument between them both. That Randy says he doesn't deserve to be there. So he could have built that up for a while, and made it a big thing that they both hate each other. But instead, they've done it in what? There was no feud between them at Fastlane, was there? So what's that? 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
What was Styles doing the fastest? I can't remember.
He didn't have a match, did he? Didn't have a match.
I think they may have built this up since Elimination Chamber.
Right.
I think that might have been when they started.
But yeah, it's just not long enough.
Did you ever watch TNA?
TNA, no.
The old school.
Oh no,
TNA.
when AJ was on with not long hair.
Yeah, like when Christian Cage was on there.
Yeah, I did. I've actually retrospectively watched stuff like that. I've been watching a lot of recently, and I never watched it at the time, but I'm really enjoying it. Is Impact? So is that
that's TNA?
Is that TNA with Hogan and Flair and Sting?
Oh, they ruined it.
Bobby Roode.
With beer money.
Yeah, honestly, I got lost down a YouTube black hole watching TNA Impact Wrestling the other week. I was like, my God, I didn't know any of this existed. Honestly, how long has Sting just been jobbing around for years, hasn't he? They just have the same matches on different brands of wrestling. It's insane.
So old school TNA, or Impact as it's called now, in that era where Styles was on top, you had Samoa Joe out there. It was really the show to watch. It was really good. And then they brought in Bischoff and Hogan, and
Bischoff.
It got all a bit. The booking got all a bit off, and
Nash is on there.
Fell out of love with it. So Nash was really good, and in the era that I'm talking about, Nash was. I had no idea who Kevin Nash was because I wasn't from his era of wrestling.
Diesel.
And no, I'd never heard of Diesel before when I was watching this, and I only found it perchance on it was on Challenge or Bravo over here, which are two now defunct. I think they're both defunct TV stations. But he was mentoring the Motor City Machine Guns. I think Alex Shelley was definitely in it, and you've probably never heard of these. And I think Chris Sabin was in it, but they're two cruiserweight type guys. Do you remember Paul London and Brian Kendrick?
Yes.
They're a bit like them, but a bit more punk rock.
Right.
Maybe new metal rather than punk rock. But and they were honestly favourites. And Chris Sabin became a world champion in TNA. Alex Shelley never. And Alex Shelley, I've lost myself. Alex Shelley was mentoring them with the paparazzi. And that was a really interesting, because they were sort of lower card kind of thing. But yeah, the whole thing, peak AJ Styles in TNA, better than in WWE.
Really?
Any day of the week. Yeah. No, he was really good, and he pulled off some brilliant matches with Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle. Really, really good. I've never seen New Japan AJ, so I can't comment on that. But as a whole, AJ Styles is a better wrestler than Randy Orton. Down. Better personality. And when I say wrestler, I don't just mean technician in ring. I mean the whole thing was better. Yeah.
I've noticed. I didn't know this, and you wrote it on the thing. I didn't realise that Randy Orton was younger than AJ Styles.
Well, this is what I've written down here is Randy Orton is actually 2 years younger than AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Not sure why that shocked me.
Blow my mind, that.
I sat down and I was like, "Oh, what's wrestling in WCW?" And I was like, I reckon he can't be older than Orton, can he? And so I researched it, and it's 2 years. Styles is 41, Orton is 39.
Crazy.
And it's amazing because I was going, I'll go Styles because he's SmackDown, bit done. But I was like, what if? That's why I checked it. I was like, oh no, Styles is 2 years older than which made me change my prediction to Randy Orton, because obviously Randy Orton is he's the young up and comer now.
I'd quite like Randy Orton to have another title run. It's been absolute shit.
I would like Randy Orton to remember who Randy Orton is and then get another one, yes. But current Randy Orton, this boring, bland, I don't care, stroppy teenager gimmick is not for me. They bring back the Viper, or better yet, bring back the Legend Killer. I'm all over that. give it to me. But not as he's been for the last 5 years or so.
Okay. So you've gone on, I've gone Styles.
Because we've got to disagree at some point.
Yes. Well, we have done a few times, I think now.
Not enough. Properly. I might properly spreadsheet this up.
Yeah.
And then give us ticks and
Okay, cool.
So next we have Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Not even Vince surely drew in this feel good, would he, Chris?
No, I don't think so. This is what I'm saying. I think this has to come across as a Roman win. I mean, they've been playing up obviously that Reigns isn't at top level fitness. He's struggling a bit. He's out of breath quite a lot. I just think WrestleMania, massive feel good moment. You could just see him. He's going to win, even if he has to have help from Dean Ambrose, because this is Ambrose's last WrestleMania.
How have they built this? Have they? It sounds like they mentioned his leukemia battle.
Yeah, so he came out and obviously told everybody he was in remission. He got the Shield back together for one last match, and they fought Corbin.
Yeah, that was the Fastlane match, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley. And they won that, obviously. And then in the weeks since then, McIntyre came out and attacked him and really beat him down the ring. And then Seth Rollins had to help him back, and then he attacked him in the back. And I think one time Reigns jumped in, but then McIntyre turned it again, around him again. So every time they've come up against each other, McIntyre's always come out on top. He's been like screaming in his face on the floor and all that, basically saying that he's the future, he needs to go away, he shouldn't have come back. And I think actually McIntyre probably is the future because he's such a specimen. He's unbelievable, and you look at the size of him, he probably is the future. But for this, I think he loses this just because of everything that's gone on behind.
Yeah, a cheap plug out there. One of the first videos, and I'll probably put this at the end of it if you're listening to YouTube as well. One of the first videos I did on this channel was talking about Roman Reigns and his situation, and it was the idea that he could take what had happened and turn it into a positive when he came back at this moment now, and how he could use the leukemia to go, I've got this, and here I am being your Superman. Here I am beating guys and winning titles and doing this while having this. I thought he could be a leader for kids that are going through whatever through. Which you don't get much of, to be fair. Like, you don't have a lot of. We talk a lot about representation these days. Whether you're talking about female representation, race representation, but less than either of those, you don't get any disabled reps. Probably because they're probably quite hard to write in.
Yeah.
And I talk about my daughter who's got movement in that video, and how maybe she could look up to someone like that and go, well, if he can do it, I can carry on and go to school today or go to work today, or do this really difficult thing that I'm dreading. So yeah, Vince is very much the bad man behind everyone's nightmares, and I think he gets quite a kick out of ruining people. Like, it's a lot. People talk a lot about him loving making people in their hometown, but not even Vince.
No, surely not.
This.
Surely not.
And Drew McIntyre is a sensible choice because it's a big enough match, but also he can afford a loss. In the situation he's in, he can take that loss and still be a decent, just at the main event level talent, which is where he's at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think he'll become main event level though. He's got everything. He's got everything,
Has he quite got the personality down?
I think he has. He's not bad on the mic. He just plays raging Scotsman,
Does he not need to bring back the three-man band to really make that jump to our title challenge?
Maybe.
Can anyone that's actually, I was going to say, can anyone that's ever been in a man band ever be a world champion for some reason? Mahal.
Yeah, he's gone downhill massively, old Jinder, hasn't he? Unbelievable. He had the title for so long, and now he's just a jobber. He just loses to everybody.
Oh, he had that awful match with Randy Orton. Oh, why was he so bad? Anyway, we have more matches to talk about. So, Triple H versus Batista in a no-holds-barred match, which is definitely completely different to the Falls Count Anywhere match we'll talk about next. I mentioned earlier that I came back to World Champ. I also came back to wrestling while Batista was World Champ, while Batista was holding the big gold belt, which it looked brilliant on him, and he was phenomenal. I was listening to a video on What Culture earlier on YouTube, and they referred to Batista as underrated. Is Batista underrated?
Possibly. It's not. It's one of them that I never. When you think back about people who've been champion and done well, I never remember Batista as being a good champion.
He was there for a short time.
But
he really was brilliant. With everything he did was top class, I felt.
I'm intrigued to see how he's going to cope back in the ring.
I think I honestly don't think he'll have any issue with it at all. He's one of those guys. I think he'll be putting the work in beforehand to make sure that he's on it, because he's professional, straight down every time. So he's not going to come in and half-ass it like other rock wrestlers might come in and do. He's going to come in and do it properly. I'm very excited. He is one of my favourites of all time. And I think
this is it. Just one match done. See you later. Never fight. Never wrestle again.
Yeah, I think this is his go out match. Win or lose, this is how he wants to. Because he didn't. He when he first left, it was after the Cena feud, which was very entertaining. But maybe that wasn't how he saw himself going out.
Yeah.
And then of course we had Blue Tista, which definitely, from all accounts, he was really angry about how all of that went down. So I think this is his chance to have that perfect ending. I don't think he'll come back again.
And if he's going to get the perfect ending, is that what you think will happen?
Yes. I've gone Batista. Whereas it seems that you slightly disagree with me here.
Yeah, would Triple H hang his boots up? Will he hang his boots up? I don't think so.
Do you not feel like the match he's had recently at EK in Saudi Arabia maybe convinced him that he's a bit done now?
Maybe. He had a bad injury there as well, didn't he? It kept him out for quite a while. It's that I always thought he'd make himself. What is he? 16-time world champion, and Cena's 17-time or something like that. Is that right? He's not the record holder world champion, is it? And I always thought he would make himself the record holder world champion before he packed in.
John Cena, who in WWE is actually, isn't if you're talking actual outside of WWE titles, Jerry the King Lawler? He's just kept giving himself a members world title.
Well, if you go in WWE, then if you just go in.
Yeah, because even Ric Flair has championships that he doesn't, that WWE don't recognize. So hang on, I've got it up now. His total of 14 world championships is third most all time recognised by WWE, behind Ric Flair and John Cena, both on 16.
Yeah, see, I think he'll want to get himself at least up to that.
You think he's going to get 2 more world title reigns in him?
Yeah.
Really? Not
reigns, just win them. I just think you could see him. I just think you could see him winning it again. I don't see him going out underneath that. I think he's that way out.
I think it would be a decent way to go. He also isn't Batista a fair bit younger than. Hang on, I've got him up here. So Triple H is currently 49 years old.
Is he really 49? Batista's 50.
Batista's never 50.
Yeah, he's 1 year older.
No.
Yeah.
I knew he was older when he joined wrestling, but he looks so much younger than Triple H.
Yeah.
Like so much younger.
Yeah, he's 50.
I tell you what I've realised, mate, in recent times is the point where we're at, and you're a bit older.
Thanks.
But this is the point where you make or break. There's no middle ground going forward. You start to A or you stay useless after. We are in that, and Triple H and Batista prove that.
True, very true.
You know what? I know I pointed out that it shocked me. Batista's really. I thought he's
yeah, he's actually 1 year older.
That's crazy. Right, I've got to deal with that. I'm still going. I'm still backing that this will be a big win. You try and
okay. Man. I'm going Triple H will win by just hook or crook. He will win.
Just a point, and we know Triple H does do this. Like he beat Sting at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He beat your favourite ever, The Undertaker.
Not at WrestleMania.
No, not at WrestleMania, but he has beaten him since.
Yeah, again, he brought himself in.
How defensive you are! Not WrestleMania.
Just like to point that out. That's what I'm saying. He just writes himself. I think he's on his he might be on his last run, but in somewhere in this last run, he will win the world title again. I can guarantee it. He will win the world title again. and he's bet the Undertaker. He's going to fight Batista. Probably beat Batista. Who knows who'll be next? There'll be somebody else. Might even go Randy Orton. He might down the evolution there, but he will win the world title again. He can. I'm telling you, he's going to be the boss, isn't he? He's going to be the main man. Vince is on his way.
Right. So I've got Triple H. I quite strongly disagree with this. This could be an interesting to talk about after the fact. Before we take a quick break for whatever we need a break for, let's talk about the Fall Count Anywhere match between Shane McMahon and The Miz. Now, we've had a disagreement on this. Yeah. We both believe that we called this one first.
Well, that's because I called it first.
But I called it first, and then you copied me.
You didn't even know about what was going on because it was happened on like Raw and SmackDown, and I told you about it. So don't come with that, I knew all about it, because you didn't watch it.
I could tell you got annoyed then because you went very northern.
I'm always very northern, man.
Well, you're but even more northern. Like,
I try not to be. Yeah. This is the one that's been. Yeah, this is the one that's been brewing for months underneath. I'm not sure. I'm not very keen on Miz being a face, to be honest. I think he's a lot better heel than he is a face because he's snide, isn't he?
But this is the world title match. This is not the world title match. I've got a completely different match now. This is the Miz face push. Always wanted. They've tried. They tried to put him with Ric Flair, and they've tried other things to get him. But he now seems to be over from what I'm seeing on my Twitter timeline.
Yeah, he is. To be fair, he is. I mean, it's strange because he's ticking the obvious boxes. Doing it for my dad and doing it for respect. I've worked so hard to get to this point and all. He's ticking all the obvious boxes to get there, but people seem to be eating it up. I don't know. I just thought he's a very good heel.
He is a brilliant. I would agree with you. But if he could get a nice face push, cool, brilliant. And we forget the fact that his dad wasn't proud of him having a world title, but was proud of him having a tag team title with the boss's son. Cool.
Weird.
Yeah. We know this isn't going to be best wrestling match on the card, but surely it's had a good story, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's going to have Shane McMahon jumping off something very high somewhere in the back of the set, landing on a table.
That's as good a story as any.
Yeah, and then I'll be shaking on the floor, and it's WrestleMania. That's what he does. So it's gonna have all that. Well, he does, doesn't he? If Shane McMahon's in a match at WrestleMania, he's gonna jump off something very high and go through a table.
Didn't jump off something high. I'm trying to think of AJ Styles. He didn't, but didn't he jump in onto the table ring?
Yeah. Okay. So I just think there's gonna be a lot of that kind of stuff going on. It'll last 15, 20 minutes, and then. I think The Miz wins 15 minutes.
It went 10.
You're forgetting again. It's great, best in the world. Shane McMahon will want a bit of TV time, mate. So you're looking at minimum 15 minutes, I reckon.
I don't know if he can go when they walked out of that match at Fastlane. Shane looked knackered. He really did.
But this is
a small amount of activity done in that tag. He looked every bit an old man. So,
but again, you see, it's a false count anyway, so you can slow it down, hitting people. A lot of lying down in wreckage on the floor, and I think you're looking at 15 minutes, of which then The Miz will win. For me, anyway, that's what I reckon. Who's older? Who's older, Shane McMahon or Batista?
It's got to be Batista, isn't it? Just the point I randomly checked how old Stephanie McMahon was. She's 42. 7 years Triple H.
Shane's 49 as well.
He's 49.
Yeah.
He's the same age.
Yeah.
He looked it.
True.
Great. Now we've sort of come to an awkward end for that one. We've both gone for The Miz. Let's take a little break and we can come back and talk title.
Good.
You're listening to Life Junkies podcast.
And we are back. So we've done all the regular matchups for WrestleMania. So shall we talk some title matches?
Yeah, cool.
In the break, I've been at a quick perusal of my Twitter, and I've learned that Rey Mysterio suffered an injury on Monday night. Still hoping to be in the US title match at WrestleMania. It seems to be just an ankle turn. So that's changed my notes here slightly, because what I've got here is I would have loved to have seen Andrade Cien Almas given the chance in this match against Joe instead of Rey. Now I can say, if Ray can't make it, I think he should be the one that should take that spot. I think even a losing effort at WrestleMania, and it should be a losing effort if he's going up against Samoa Joe, because Joe needs to hold that title.
Yeah.
To give it some sort of credibility back after what they've done to it.
I agree.
But even a losing effort at WrestleMania against someone like Samoa Joe would do him wonders in his career, and I think both of them could have such a good match that I think it's one of those where, in a losing effort, people still respect him more for doing what he can do.
I think if he's out, I think there's more chance of it being Mustafa Ali.
God, you've got a thing for Mustafa Ali.
I really dislike him, to be honest. I think he's garbage, but genuinely. But they push him. He got injured. He's come back and he's on straight away. He actually fought Joe this week on SmackDown, and he was beating him for a long time. So I would have thought they would push him in rather than Andrade.
I've got to say, garbage is a very strong word to use. Isn't he just Ali now?
Yeah, so he's just Ali now. Yeah. He's just average, mate. You know, he's just like to be fair, he's just like Ricochet. They're very similar. You know, they are. There's a lot of the flying off the top ropes, flying through the ropes. Everybody flies through the ropes now in wrestling for some reason.
Oh, you're so old, man.
I'm not old, man. You know what? Not everybody has to do it. Genuinely, not everybody has to be caught by wrestlers outside the ring. And it happens there's very rarely a match now where somebody doesn't either go over or through the middle rope to land on somebody outside.
No, there are far too many suicide dives in wrestling, and people doing suicide dives that shouldn't be, aka Brie Bella. And I see what you mean. And some guys are flippy for the sake of being flippy, and Ricochet was one for a while. But yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Mustafa Ali to have a comment on him. But he's not in this match, so we should be talking about him. Talking of flippy guys, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Do you think he's got a chance of taking the title at WrestleMania?
None whatsoever.
None at all.
Black and white, none whatsoever. Well, I hope not. I really like Samoa Joe. He's just got a bit of everything, you know. He's nasty. He's got a good tune when he comes out to, you know. He's just got everything. I would love Joe just to keep that title and just eventually just work his way through. Just being somebody who nobody beats. He just chokes them out, you know. That's it, and builds a bit of reputation. Then go and get the big one, take the big title.
Do you think they'll give it to him?
I think it should. I think he's good enough. He's got a good character. He's good on the mic, you know. He's got a good look about him. I think he's got a bit of everything. He should, but now he's got the US title. Let him keep it. Let him just keep beating people. Just doing what he wants. I'd love to see him just walking around doing what he wants. You know, he wants to come out halfway through a bloody tag team match. He can do whatever he wants. You know, make him that kind of person that he just doesn't care what anybody says. He just comes out and does what he wants, and then builds a big reputation behind it.
So we've been playing the age game today. How old do you think Samoa Joe is?
I'm gonna say he's younger than Randy Orton, and I'm gonna say he's 36.
He is 40 years old.
No.
He has been doing this. He's another one. He's been doing this for a long time. So I don't know if I'll go for it. He's only 4 years younger than Rey Mysterio. So in fact, that's always been
he's
my
a different
question.
kind of wrestler, I suppose. That's the thing, innit? He can last longer with his size and his skill set than you can being like Rey Mysterio.
Joe's been fairly high fly. Like he does ground and pound as well. But you know he won TNA X Division titles because he could fly with the best of them. That's always been his selling point, that he the way he can move, and he's one of those guys. He's big and he's chunky, but he can move. He doesn't, and this is what you get. A lot of the bigger guys they are quite slow and lumbering and all this, but he can move really well, and he's fluid in the ring, which has always been, for me, the most impressive part of it.
But I know we're saying, will they go for his age? But he's 40. You could literally now say, right, here we go. He ain't gonna lose a match for a year, and by next year's WrestleMania, he's fighting for the title. Done. 41 years old.
I think we're going to give him the title. The time to give him the title was in that feud of AJ Styles.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't win it, to be honest.
I felt he should have won it there.
I agree.
I think he'll be one of those that comes in. He's not quite AJ Styles level. AJ Styles had to come in and win a title because of the buzz behind him. Joe is a different person. They don't tend to like bringing in older guys from other companies and giving him the title. I don't think he'll ever win it, honestly. If not just for Vince's pettiness.
Yeah, we shall see. But I would like to see it because I do think it's got a lot to offer.
Yeah, but in this match we've both gone Joe to win.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for Ray to win any titles at the moment.
No, it doesn't make. I mean, I think he's a bit of a spent force, to be honest. Mysterio, he's had his day.
Yeah, but get him in. Let him put over some of the guys.
Yeah,
they get their rubber
that's
beating
it.
Ray and move on. You know, that's what annoyed me when they did the feud of him and Randy Orton, because he could be given a rub to someone younger.
Yeah, I agree. It's just he's had his day, you know. That's it now. He was good. He did really well. I mean, he did better than everyone probably thought for his size, but that kind of thing's never coming back for him. You know.
No.
He just needs to move on, I think.
So next up we have the IC title match: Finn Balor taking on Bobby Lashley. Now you got Finn Balor to win down here.
Yeah.
I've gone Bobby Lashley. So my argument against Finn Balor winning again is they've already hot potatoed this title. Is it Balor won at who win? It wasn't the Rumble, was it?
Yeah, it might have been. Might have been the Rumble because Lashley fought at Fastlane in the triple tag team thing, didn't he?
The Rumble, he was on the pre-show against Elias,
Huh?
so it might have been Elimination Chamber.
Maybe. I know that obviously they've swapped it on Raw as well.
They've swapped it a few times. I think you can't keep hot potatoing it. I think Lashley will now hold it going forward. In much time, he'll lose it if they decide to push through.
Where does Finn Balor go though from now?
I don't think they care. I really don't. The argument is that I think the Demon is building up a record at WrestleMania.
He's not going to be the Demon now.
But he is. No, it's been confirmed. He's beginning to be the Demon. It's not. I don't think the Demon's building up a record at WrestleMania. I think the Demon is building up a pay-per-view. Sorry, I got that wrong.
Okay.
And the Demon is going to appear. So that is the onus for saying Finn Balor's going to win. Is Bobby Lashley really the man to beat the Demon?
No. I even feel even more stronger now that he's going to win.
Then you know what? I think I'm going to change my mind and agree with. It annoys me when we agree because we should be arguing this, but I'm going to change my mind to Finn Balor. If you're remembering my change from earlier, can you make sure you remember this one as well, please, Chris?
Definitely not, mate. Locked in, mate. You told me locked in these.
And all right, I'll call you out when you've got both of them down.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Bobby Lashley. I think Finn Balor's a lot better.
Yeah, agree.
Whereas Skinny O, he's a muscly Skinny O, but even with muscle, he's still a skinny.
Yeah.
Haven't we seen this match though?
Yeah, we have, and this is another one similar to we were talking about Orton and AJ earlier. That I'll just be clock watching. You know, it's just one of them going, how long is it going to be? 10 minutes, hopefully, and that's it. Get it out of there, get the next one on, and move on. It's nothing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, no, it seems like not AJ. You confuse me now. Finn Balor is stuck in the never-ending bore feud, where he can't move on to the next opponent because they go, we'll have you fight him again, and then he's fighting him on Raw and he's fighting him on pay-per-view.
That's it. He has the same matches on Raw as he does on pay-per-views. He did it with Corbin. On fighting him on Raw every week and then fighting him at pay-per-view. Like, we don't need to see this all the time, you know. And this is what's happening again now. Hopefully, he'll come out as a Demon. He'll beat him. Done. Move along.
Last time he came out as a Demon, I believe, was when he destroyed Corbin. And I was like, hopefully that's it done then. And then it wasn't done. And I was like, why?
Yeah, hopefully that's it. It's done and they can move on. But we'll see.
Yeah, no. I'm going with you for Finn Balor. Cool.
Well, no, you're not. It says Bobby Lashley there, mate. So,
one we've added in, and we've got no notes for it because we literally added it in as we started to record it, or as we started the Skype call. SmackDown Tag Team title: Ricochet and Black versus The Bar versus Rusev versus the
Usos.
You can see The Bar winning, possibly. I don't think Ricochet and Black will win because I don't think they're going to be a tag team long term. And Nakamura and Rusev aren't going to win. Come on, let's be serious. Rusev is pretty much out of the company. Nakamura doesn't care.
No,
they're just being put in to beat in, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe so. I think so. Was just decided this week on SmackDown that this will be a match. And like you said, Ricochet and Black, are they going to give them the tag belts? I can't see it. You know, I think I think they need to separate them up. To be honest, it's time to split them now rather than keep them as a tag team. The Bar, the Usos, the Bar, the Usos, the Bar. That's just something that's been going on now for years. And like you said, Nakamura and Rusev, they're just in there to make their numbers up and sell T-shirts.
You feel like you could have done something quite interesting with, even if you want to pursue the Ricochet and Black Mat thing, why not just have a match them versus? And I know there seems to be, especially with this card more than any other, this obsession with getting as many people on the card as possible. So we've got more multi-person matches, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Why?
Don't know. It's bizarre. It is that we've just said, I think, to get more superstars in on the card, so everybody gets an appearance at WrestleMania.
But it's not. It's WrestleMania. You go and earn your appearance at WrestleMania. Don't just get given it because you need to get you a payday.
I agree. I mean, Nakamura Rusev. Why isn't that the New Day?
Now, I think the New Day are going to be quite heavily involved in the World Title match.
Yeah.
Because I think Daniel will bring back up, but it's not just Luke Harper. It's not Luke Harper. Eric Rowan. So, on a point of this, why don't the Revival have a match?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
surely
true,
you could split it and maybe have Ricochet and Black go against the Revival. They've beaten them twice. Surely they've earned a title match by now.
Well, they had a title match this week. They lost it
against
Revival.
Really, on Raw?
Yeah, on Raw. Basically, Ricochet got counted out. Was trying to get back in the ring, and one of the Revival was hiding under the ring and held his legs. So he couldn't get in time.
That seems to me like perfect.
Yeah, you know what? I'm probably wrong here, but for some strange reason, I thought they were having a match at WrestleMania, and then on SmackDown they changed it to this, and I just wondered if one of the Revival had got injured or something.
Well, there's nothing when I wrote this when I did the template for the notes on Monday night.
Right, it must have just been me. I must have misheard it.
There's nothing on there.
Yeah.
It's the multi-man for multi-man's sake. A good wrestlers can make a multi-man singles match work.
Yeah.
A multi-man tag match is very hard to make. It's complicated sake. Unless you're doing it like a big free-for-all, like a tornado tag type thing, which they never do anymore, then it becomes a bit convoluted because there's only ever two people. I presume they're going to be keeping the same rules they always in at a time.
Yeah, you think so?
What is it? Is it recently they did the thing where two guys were in time and they just pinned them?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember that.
Was that on Raw or SmackDown in the last few?
I can't remember that. I don't know. You might be right. I might have fallen asleep.
Yeah. So we've both got Usos because no one else makes sense.
Just looking, it says that the Revivals might be wrestling Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins at WrestleMania.
Oh, if anything ever said that Vince doesn't believe in the revival, that does.
Yeah, so there you go. That'll be on the warm-up show, no doubt.
Let's take this point to talk about how we're watching, because I haven't decided how I'm watching WrestleMania. Of course, in the UK, it'll probably start maybe 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And go on until, it's looking the size of the card, it'll go on to like 7 a.m.
Mm.
I might have my daughter comes down to have a breakfast while I'm sat here watching Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. What is your plan? Are you going to watch it live or are you watching it later on?
No, I'm going to watch the kickoff show.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to watch WrestleMania on Monday because I'm off work.
You know what? I've booked that Monday.
Kids taken to school in the morning, back home, chill out.
No, it's Easter holidays.
Oh, no. That has ruined me. Oh, I'm absolutely devastated.
Because your kids are a bit younger than mine. Are they not? Are they? Is she in school?
She's 4, so yeah, she's at school.
And
the little one's at nursery normally. So right, and that means my missus will be at home as well because she's a teacher, so that's even worse. So I don't know what I'm going to do now, mate.
Sunday come down to mine. We'll watch on this call.
Yeah, I think I might even stay up now then and watch it. I'll see how I feel.
This is always the thing, like, if Americans, all that, it's very easy. It might be, it's a bit of a late night. But, like, for every pay-per-view, for us, it's always that. And I've sat there watching so many WrestleMania, and I've got to a point where I'm like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. I'm just too tired. I have to go to bed.
I don't want... The trouble is it's avoiding spoilers. That is with not watching it live. And if your phone might send you like, oh, you load Twitter up, and the first thing you'll see will be Charlotte Flair stood with 2 titles above Red or something, and it ruins it. So I don't know.
When Nakamura won the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble is one of my favourite pay-per-views. When before the network, the 2 pay-per-views I brought were WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, and then we got every other little pay-per-view for free on Sky Sports. Cool. But I wouldn't have paid for them if we didn't get them. I would have only brought Mania. So Rumble 2 years ago, when Nakamura won, or a year ago, I guess. But
2.
Well, no, technically it's just over a year ago, isn't it? It's close to a year ago than 2 years ago.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, he's not 39 until he's.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So the point. I had to work the next day, and I thought, I'll watch them when I get home. And through the day, I'm not checking Twitter. I've got Twitter up until the point of start of a round, on both accounts because I've got the live stream.
Yeah.
And I'm not checking Facebook or Instagram because I follow some wrestlers on Instagram, and Facebook I've got a few wrestling fans on there that are always liable to put something up. And I'm on Slack of all places, and one of the lads on there goes, "Oh yeah, I've just started my new FM save inspired by Nakamura winning the Rumble last night." He said, "I don't watch wrestling, but my mates made me stay up and watch it with them." I was like, "No."
Oh man!
I literally left. I was in that person's channel. I left it. I was so annoyed.
I can imagine.
I thought the one place I was safe was a place where you are the only fan.
Yeah.
About football, not safe.
Oh mate. Well, yes. I'll have to just see now. I have to play it by ear, but maybe on the night.
There's a very good chance that I'm going to see how far I can get into it, and then in the morning I will wander down and watch it. I know the missus is off work and the child will be around, but the child is very easy to distract. And she'll even watch a bit of WrestleMania. She'll watch a bit of wrestling.
That's good.
She does try and get involved in it. Again, it's 6 to 4 is a massive difference. So and she's excited about it. She watched rugby with me, England rugby. Declared it was better than football. So I was okay. Your choice is wrong, but sure, we'll go with it. She did add the caveat that better than football was not Chelsea. Chelsea is still better. She gets a pass on that. That's all right. But we should probably talk about wrestling instead of
yes, we probably should.
Children. The next we go to the women's tag team title, which is the Divas of Doom versus the Iconics versus Mina and Nia Jax versus the Boss and Hug. I have several notes on this. The one I should probably start with is who's the other Diva of Doom? I know Beth Phoenix is one. Is Natty the other one? Yeah. She is, okay. I didn't know if she brought someone else back with her.
No, it's Natty, who, as I've said before, I think's ridiculously poor. It's terrible. Why bring Beth Phoenix back? The glamour's on. And she looks fit, don't get me wrong. I mean, she's obviously kept herself in good shape and that, but I don't know, it's just pointless.
She baffled me when put into the Hall of Fame. Not because I didn't like her. I rooted for her to be pushed in an era where women were not pushed for being good wrestlers.
Yeah.
At the same time, I was rooting for Natty because through all her flaws, she was still far better than seeing Kelly as women's champion.
She's just been left behind a bit.
Oh yeah, she's not. She's, with all due respect to her, she's not in the same league as even other women in this match.
No.
But Beth Phoenix was around for such a small amount of time, and she didn't do anything game changing. She didn't.
She's like a 5-time world champion or something.
Did she manage 5 times?
I'm sure she's more. And didn't she? She was in the male Royal Rumble, wasn't she?
Yeah, but mate, we've let Nia Jax in the male Royal Rumble, so you can't really call that a big. Again, well, as much as I love Oscar, dislike of Nia Jax is been out there. Shouldn't there be? This is the match that I thought was going to happen at Fastlane about this. Shouldn't there have been a team from NXT in it?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of women on the main cards who aren't in this match, or maybe would have thought they'd get a chance, like Yuki I know you like to bang on about Ember Moon, people like that. Maybe if she could have got a tag team up to be in this, then maybe that might have been better than bringing somebody up from NXT and jumping over these people. Because I just think the female division's stacked as it is. Bringing more
I don't think it is
average. There's a lot of people in that where you're just thinking,
there's a lot of naff people though.
Yeah, there is, but they're still there, so you're just adding more people to the pile.
The argument is they came out and they did this whole thing about we're going to give everyone a chance, and they specifically name dropped Raw, SmackDown, and we're even going to go to NXT, and they went to NXT. I saw them; they were on my TV in NXT, and but nothing sort of come from that. If you're going to give these guys a chance, give these guys a chance. And I get maybe Beth Phoenix wants to come back and challenge tag team title, cool. But if you're going to say you're going to give people from NXT a chance, then go give them a chance. Maybe you could have had Kairi Sane and Io Shirai have come up and have a match and just showcase what they can do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of women already not being used. They might be a bit annoyed.
Four-time women's champion.
3-time
women's champion. 1-time divas champion.
Yeah, true.
But still, that's not. There's probably plenty of women that aren't Hall of Fame that haven't had.
True. So yeah, I don't know. I just think it's a strange one. But it's WrestleMania. You get old wrestlers coming back. They've done it with a female one this time, so fair enough. But I hope they don't win. That's all I can say. And you? Anyway, who are you picking?
I have so we said that you did the predictions before, and you said Tamina and Nia Jax.
Yes.
But anyone but the Divas.
Yeah.
I've gone the Boss and Hug connection, but anyone but Tamina and Nia Jax, because they are just so bad. They really are. I would far rather Becky.
I generally think Tamina and Jax are going to win this. Nia Jax. I just do.
You've got to give Sasha and Bayley a decent amount of time these titles before they turn on each other and have then go on to do single stuff. You can't just have for 2 months, less than 2 months. By the way, just point this out, but the Iconics are still the best female duo in WWE. Are they the best wrestlers? No, of course they're not. Are they brilliantly entertaining on the mic? Yes, they very much are.
Yeah, they are funny actually. I do like them. They're not going to win this though.
No, they're not going to. But for my reasons they're still going to, which they need to, because they need to cement these titles as a thing as well. They can't just. Yeah.
Well, they have been
these titles around to everyone.
They've been going on. So they went and defended them on NXT, didn't they?
Yes.
And they've defended them on SmackDown and defended them on Raw. So they've been taking them around. Did they go to 205 Live as well? I can't remember.
There's no women on 205 Live, so they can't have.
Well, there you go. You see, I don't watch 205 Live, so I was trying to think. So there's no women on that. Why is that then?
Men? Because there's no women's title on there, and the majority of women must be under 205.
Yeah, true. Oh, massively over it, like Jax.
You know what? I wasn't going to make a comment about Jax because people would think I was being fattest about her. And it's not her size that is my issue with her. It's the fact that she can't wrestle and a liability in that ring. Also, when she opens up.
Yeah, it's an annoying sound she makes with her mouth.
That's it. It's no voice. It's just annoying noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I've got Boss and Her Connection. You've gone Tamina and Jax.
Yeah.
Right on that. So next up, and I've put it here next to the rest of the world titles to give it the level of credence it deserves. If you want to hear more about me talking about why the Cruiserweight title should be given a bit more prominence, again, check out my video on WWE title belts and what WWE should do to revamp them and make them more relevant. Cool. I'm getting my plugs out there.
Yeah.
I will forget to put these on show notes to put it out. Tony Nese versus Buddy Murphy, the World Cruiserweight title. Where is Tony Nese coming from? He's suddenly he's in a world title match.
I'm not going to pretend I watch 205 Live here, so I did a bit of quick Googling, and he won a tournament. So basically, he beat Kalisto, Gulak, and Cedric Alexander in the final of the last few weeks to get this shot. So he's basically beaten everybody there is to beat to get the shot to face Buddy Murphy at WrestleMania. So he's done well to get there. So they've obviously a bit of story behind him. They're trying to put a push behind him. Yeah. What does he beat Buddy Murphy? Possibly. Because he's had the. I was going to say probably, and I changed my mind to possibly because I realised I picked him to win. So I'm going to say that Tony Nese wins.
My issue with Tony Nese, and I haven't seen much of him since they took the 205 Live guys off Raw. He never really had a personality. Like, he tried to do this gimmick about, I think it was the man with the perfect abs. Or something.
Yeah. Poor man's Rick Martel.
God, that is showing your age there, Chris. Just saying.
Class, mate. Class.
I've watched a bit of the early 90s Raw. I think I made it through like the start of Raw.
Yeah.
It was quite hard going. It was fairly similar to watching it.
Gets better.
But yeah, he never had much of a personality to him. I can't see him leading the division. He might have changed. It's been a long time since he took the 205 Live guys off Raw, but I can't see it, and I don't see any reason to take Buddy Murphy off.
Just to change it up, maybe, freshen it up.
Do they need to though?
Well, maybe. Things can go stale,
Since last WrestleMania, they've had 2 champions. Both of them have done pretty well. Buddy Murphy is still well liked. He's interesting. Yeah. Also, Buddy Murphy is the boyfriend of Alexa Bliss, or fiance.
Really?
Punching. Found that out watching watching Total Divas as the missus quite likes to, and they were talking about the very real possibility, because he's Australian, the very real possibility of him getting deported to the contract. This was he'd been injured, they'd got better, and still wasn't being used in it.
Yeah,
we're well behind our Total Divas, much to my.
I've never watched it.
It gets the missus somewhat interested. She's downloaded the Total Bella's podcast.
Right.
So I'm going, I don't know why. It's probably going to be rubbish, but I seem to have downloaded it anyway. I'll probably only get 2 minutes into it and turn it off. I don't know why you're trying to convince me about this, but sure, you go do you.
Yeah. Subscribed.
Cool. So you're going Nese, I'm going.
Yeah. Why not? Cheers.
On that note, Universal title: Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. I'm done with Brock.
Wrong.
Brock.
No, I'm saying wrong. That's what you are, wrong.
Oh, I thought you said Braun. Not Braun Lesnar.
I said wrong, mate. I said you can't have enough Brock, because if you had enough Brock, that means you had enough Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman is one of the best things on Raw.
Yes.
So you need Brock.
However, the issue with Brock is every 3 months you have to sit through a half-assed match where he doesn't really care.
I don't know. I think he's got better this last 12 months. I think he looks more like he enjoys it a bit now. I think he knows this is where his bread and butter is. And he knows he doesn't have to do much to keep this gig. It's a good gig for him. And I love the fact that he just keeps on being heavyweight champion. He just keeps that belt, and people keep coming and running their mouth, and he beats them. And that's what I like. I think it's good to have that, rather than if Seth Rollins wins it, he'll be on Raw every week. I don't know.
He's already on Raw every week.
I know, but it'll be I'm going to defend this title every week, and it's not the same. I like having a big bastard as champion who doesn't care what anybody else thinks, but people can't beat him. And hopefully, he'll beat Seth Rollins. He should beat Seth Rollins anyway. He should be beating him.
If he beats Seth Rollins, who eventually beats Brock?
McIntyre.
Really?
He's big enough. He's the same size. He is Brock 10 years ago. He's ripped, whereas Brock's a little bit older and a bit flabby and that. McIntyre is ripped,
Brock makes McIntyre look like a beanpole, though. Because Brock isn't, and he's never been lanky. He's always stocky.
I just think you're looking for somebody who's got... I mean, they might put Strowman back in, but I just think McIntyre's the one you could see Vince pushing. Just because he's like a black-haired Hulk Hogan. He's big, 6 foot, whatever he is, strong. He has got everything. That's the one you could possibly see him beating him. Obviously, apart from The Undertaker when he comes back. But...
Well, no, it's Triple H, isn't it? He's got 2 more title runs to
yeah, he'll take it off someday. He'll take it off Daniel Bryan.
Kofi Kingston, I think you'll find. But that is a conversation for in about 5 minutes' time. I think Brock quite likes fighting the young guy. Not the young guy. He quite likes fighting the little guys. His match with AJ Styles was really good. His match with Daniel Bryan was really good.
Finn Balor. That was good. Finn Balor.
That was far better than it had any right to be, and far better than I expected.
Yeah.
So I think this could be a nice match. And again, Seth isn't small by, he's not going to go for the 205 Live. He's not Warrior and Buddy Murphy, but
No.
He's still small in general compared to classic wrestler size. So I think what you'll see is Seth Rollins fighting a lot from underneath, Brock dominating him a lot, and Seth trying to be the cleverer wrestler.
Yeah, you're probably right there. I just think in the end, Brock's strength will come through.
I think Seth has to win for the sake of all of our souls, and so Brock could go away for a bit.
And then what happens to Heyman?
Heyman does Heyman things. There'll always be a place for Heyman. If you want to make a place for Heyman, you can make a place for Heyman. You can get him a guy to be Heyman's guy. I presume the reason they haven't done that is because Heyman probably doesn't want a long-term gig having to be there every at Raw. But Brock Lesnar can still be around. This is the thing. He can still be around. He can still be an attraction.
Yeah.
I just don't think he can have the world title. That's all. I would like to see the world title be defended more regularly. Not every week on Raw, but at least every pay-per-view.
If Seth Rollins wins it, how long before it's Seth v Roman at a pay-per-view?
That is an interesting one because I don't think they should be turning Seth heel, so then you're stuck with turning Roman Reigns heel.
They should have made Roman heel a year ago.
Yes, because however much goodwill he's been brought by his hardships. In general, he is a classic heel.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a big, powerful, good-looking chap who was born into wrestling, has all the advantages. He should be that smarmy, and this is something they don't build for. He should be that smarmy heel that is good and can back himself up.
Yeah,
because you hate those ones more than you get. They really like the I'd say the Edge type of heel. Edge was really good. He was smarmy, he was nasty, he was conniving, but he was a cowardly, and it made sense, and he did it very well. And like someone like the Miz, the best one, but all of the heels, every heel. What I'd want is Roman Reigns being a heel, but being a badass heel. I can back up what I say and what I do, and I don't. If I cheat, I don't cheat because I need to cheat. I cheat because I want to cheat.
Yeah,
and that level of that's what I would love to see him as, and I think that get him over. And if you have that, then you can have a really good face turn when he finally does turn face.
Yeah, no, I agree. That would be a good way to do it. So that means they won't do it that way.
No, they won't. Yeah.
But yeah, Brock.
No, Seth.
Okay, we'll see.
If you're quite interested, movie show.
Yeah, just let you know, if I'm wrong on more than 50% of these, I will not be available for next week's show.
I reckon we need some sort of bet or fit.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I said that you've got.
Yeah, I noticed it. Wrong. Don't worry about that now.
So, on to the next, the WWE, Kofi Kingston and Daniel. Just so people know which side of the fence I stand on this one. This main event push is 10 years old. Kofi was being pushed to me. I made to sit down and watch videos of Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton when he was being in that big push before he got by Randy. It's 10 years ago. He should have been in the world title picture then. He should have used that beating Randy Orton, but at least been in a contendership for world title. Is he up there with the Cenas and the guys on that level? No, probably not. But if you look at the guys that have been world champion, he more than deserves a chance. And out of everyone in the New Day, he is the one that is a current world title contender. Like, I love Big E as much as the next guy, and Big E is the most likely to do it. But Big E needs to take a step up before he is world title. Whereas I think Kofi's got that in him now.
See, I don't think any of New Day are world title class. Anywhere near that level, to be honest. And I can see why people are liking Kofi, because he's obviously older than the rest of them. He's been around for a long time. They've really sold the trying to beat the man angle is doing, with Vince coming out and putting him down and making it ridiculously hard for him to qualify. I just don't see where you go with it if he's champion. I don't get where you go with it. I really don't. Plus, I tell you what won't happen. Seth Rollins won't win one title and Kofi win the other one. You're not going to have two face champions.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Not a chance.
3 face champions, but we'll get to the third one in a minute. I think this is, as you may have learned from my rant a minute ago, I think this is really deserved, and I've got down in the show notes, actually deserved, not rubbish fans chanting "you deserve it" to Zack Ryder after winning the IC title a few years back, because he didn't really deserve it. No, actually deserved, because he's been entertaining. He's a really good wrestler.
Yeah,
he's also very good on the mic.
Yeah, but not top level, not world champion level.
But I think you give him that chance, and he could do it. You let him go, and when he's given the chance to step up, as he did against Randy Orton, he did. He stepped up, and he matched Randy Orton in that. Whether it's pay-per-view skills, whether it was not pay-per-view skills, whether it's promo skills, or whether it's in the match, he matched it and he upped his game. And when he got screwed, you could see it. He gave up a little bit and back down. And when he's been given this chance, he's ramped it back up again, as he has with the New Day regularly. And he went into the next year.
If you give him the title, it kind of what you're saying about Daniel Bryan then from here.
Bryan will be fine without the title. It'll give him something else to rage and moan about. Oh, it's so unfair. I was screwed at WrestleMania. I should have got an automatic title match because they've taken those away. I should have got this. I deserve this. I deserve that. And he does this, maybe stereotypical entitled millennial. I should have and stomps him, and it gives him something else. Because Daniel Bryan needs that character, needs something to rage against, and there's only so much he can rage against the arena that a pay-per-view is being held at, selling a burger, or he can make stereotypical climate change issues. His
character works well as champion. I don't think it works as well when you're not champion. If you're at the top of the hill shouting down, that works. I don't see how it's going to work as well not having that. What's the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania?
Is it Extreme Rules?
Is it?
Let me, because they released it recently. I'll get it up.
Right. Yeah. I just don't see. I think personally, you're probably going to see Kofi having an incredible match where he'll be flying all around the place and he'll come incredibly close. The referee will get knocked down at one point and Kofi will have him pinned or have him tap in, or there'll be some way where he should have won and he doesn't win. But then what happens is Bryan gets his way in the end, whether it be a heel turn or whether it just be help from, I don't know, maybe Luke Harper comes back to help, maybe he joins in. Something will happen that Kofi will get screwed out of it and not win.
Money in the Bank is the next pay-per-view.
Is it really? Yeah.
What I would like to see is Daniel Bryan then rallying against, and then The Miz comes out and tells him to shut up, and then what we get is a face Miz as heel Daniel Bryan, which can actually eclipse him last year.
I think you need Daniel Bryan as champion for that.
I think you should mind your mouth and trust in Kofi.
We will see. Kofi will be in the Money in the Bank match. That's how it'll go.
On that note, I always felt that they should have kept them. But I feel quite sad they've done away with the multi-ladder matches, because after they got rid of them, after Money in the Bank became a pay-per-view, they did it for, I think it was the IC title, for at least 1 year, if not 2.
Yeah.
I think I always really look forward to the WrestleMania multi-man matches. Why can't they shove Money in the Bank later on in the year in like November or something?
Because they just like to run that gimmick through the year, don't they? Are they going to cash it in? It's something that runs for the next few pay-per-views.
It was later in the year, and they've slowly moved it up. Because we used to have Backlash, then Extreme Rules, then possibly something else, but it might have just gone straight into. And slowly, you got rid of a few years ago. It was Extreme Rules was straight after WrestleMania, and now Money in the Bank is straight after.
I think it's just to run that gimmick.
I feel a nice 6-man ladder match at WrestleMania quite nice and fun. Why can't you have that for one of the lesser belts every year?
Yeah, true. Maybe, but I just think they like to run that gimmick. It's something different. Not something different, but something different to have on the shows each week. Will it be cashed in? That's the only reason I can think why they brought it there. And then whoever they decide is going to win that, obviously, can then possibly go to SummerSlam or whatever and have their big match there.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why. But yeah, so I still think Daniel Bryan will win, so I'm going Daniel Bryan.
You think Daniel Bryan will win. I am correct, and I think Kofi Kingston will win, so we'll see.
Yeah, I will. Don't forget that I'm recording my audio. I'm going to clip all these up of you being so confident.
Yeah, you're recording your audio. You're not recording my audio.
Oh, yeah. Good
Ah.
point.
I'm going to clip these up of me being so confident. And they're laughing.
Yeah.
Last match, our main event, is match of the night. The match that I presume are looking
Yes.
is also probably the biggest ever WWE match.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
is for the Raw. Oh no, it's not for the Raw Women's title. It was for when I did this template. It is for both the Raw and the SmackDown Women's title.
Bizarre.
Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. Well, they have to do it because they've given Flair the belt. They have to do it for both titles because it would be weird if a loser walked out of there with a title.
I agree. I just think it's weird to give her the title when they did like that. Just
yes, and
bizarre.
It seems that they cancelled. What is it? They cancelled Naomi versus Mandy Rose versus two others, and Naomi seemed to be very annoyed about it. And people were like, "Oh, you just wanted your title shot," and she said, "No, I was never supposed to win that match."
Yeah,
but I think it's a kick. Basically, what she said was paraphrasing, but it's a kick in the teeth for the women that were supposed to be in that match.
Yeah,
fought for the position, and I get what she's saying. It's more of a kick in the teeth for Oscar, who is brilliant, but it makes sense to me. And for the third time, I'll plug it. I've talked about the idea of combining the women's world titles in my pay-per-view on the revamp on my pay-per-view on my video about the revamp of the WWE title scene. So check that out. It will be at the end of this video if you're listening on YouTube. And yeah, so I see the point in combining the titles. I think what we're going to see is them combining a lot more titles, and I think it'll end with the WWE title and the Universal title unified as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you could be right. In the end.
But yeah, I understand the logic behind it, but what I would have done is add Oscar into this match, and they still got time. I don't think they will add her into this match. She's very firmly in the promo pictures for the Women's Battle Royal. I can't see her wrestling two matches on the same night, even if they are at different ends of the card. But I would have had her go a bit crazy and force her way into the match. You screwed me, I will take you out, and then go. And then so they go, okay, cool, you could be in the match as well. Stop punching Charlotte Flair or whatever. Or even have her just beat down all of the other women on the roster. Leave Charlotte Flair out of it, but have like Mandy Rose and Naomi, and just have her beat them up until they go, okay, stop it, you can be in the match, or something like that. And then have it forward. And this is the thing I said earlier, that it takes the right people to get a singles multi-person match right. I think these four women could do it very well, and I think adding Oscar to the mix would allow them to do a lot more. 3-person matches are a lot harder to pull off than the 4-person matches, because you've got to have someone down and out for a while, or you've got to try and get 3 people to work coherently. With a 4-man match, you could have Oscar and Charlotte Flair down and one fighting, Becky and Ronda on one of the other side fighting, blah blah blah.
It's going to be interesting to see how the dynamics of the match work out. Because Rousey's obviously so powerful. Will Flair and Lynch kind of team up for a while?
No chance.
You don't think?
I don't see any. I don't think it makes sense for anyone to team up, because they pushed them all as hating each other so much.
Yeah, it's going to be strange. It will be. I'm hoping it's going to be good. I really am. I mean, I don't know if the rumours of Rousey leaving are true. If they are, then obviously this is where she steps away for a bit. But
I wouldn't be surprised if she at least took some time off,
maybe
just for herself, and then what you do. And this is what, because a lot of people, and again, I think me and you are fairly together on this one, where we both felt like the triple threat was the right way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
It made sense storyline wise, but a lot of people seem to be unhappy that Charlotte Flair is added to the match, and that doesn't make sense.
No, me neither.
What you get here is you get this triple threat match, which is going to be really good and has been really well built towards. And then in the future, if Ronda Rousey takes a bit of time off and then comes back, you can have that Ronda Rousey come back going, Becky, you beat me for my title, but you didn't beat me. You pinned Flair.
Yeah.
So now I want one-on-one, me and you, and you can do that at SummerSlam or Survivor Series, or even next WrestleMania, depending on how long she wants to take off.
True.
And you've got that, and you can build to it, and you've got that longevity to it. And it's the thing, you don't always need to have that You don't need to go, all right, match. You can go, well, match, wait a bit, match, wait a bit.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got here.
True. I've seen all that stuff. I actually think Rousey's going to win. So.
I've quite clearly gone for Becky. I cannot imagine him in the same way that I said to you again while we were chatting earlier. Kofi is the right set. Kofi is the sensible choice. It is all been built up for him to make the triumphant have the triumphant victory over Daniel Bryan. This has all been built up for Becky Lynch to have her redeeming. The other two are the champions. The other two have treated her badly. She's fought her way here, clawed, bitten her way here. She's gonna win it.
They can't give. I know I said it right at the beginning. I said, "Oh, the faces are gonna win," but they can't give it to everybody. I just don't. Surely to God, no. She's had a good year as Becky Lynch, like an amazing year. She's come from nowhere really, and she's won the Royal Rumble. You know, she was in the Men's Royal Rumble. It's nuts. It's not the Men's Royal Rumble. She won the Royal Rumble. She's had her shot taken away. She's come back. She's had injuries. She's been arrested apparently twice. You know, all this stuff's going against her, but surely not going to let her win it out with it. Something's got to happen.
WrestleMania will end with Becky Lynch holding both women's titles above her head and being the man.
I genuinely think it'll end with Ronda Rousey being the baddest woman on the planet as she's been billed ever since she joined the company, and now she's heel. She should have always been heel. She should never have been soft and smiley and giving her stuff to kids. Ronda Rousey. She should always have been this sports bullshit. I'm the hardest woman in the world. I'm going to show you all what your place is. And this is the best chance to run that gimmick and run that line that there is to beat these two and stand there at the end as champion.
Unsurprisingly, Chris, I think you're wrong. This is the ending. You've built it up. This is the final match. More than any other match on this card, this is the one that has to send the crowd home happy. And sending the crowd home happy is giving it to Becky Lynch.
See, and obviously, I've said I think Ronda Rousey is going to win it. Who I want to win is Charlotte Flair, but
all right, Vince, what are you doing?
I love
on my podcast?
I love Charlotte Flair, but she's class. You know, she's got everything. Charlotte, she's gorgeous. She's great on the mic. She's a brilliant wrestler. She's got everything. You know.
This isn't something we talk about often. I try not to rate female wrestlers and their looks. And I did mention it earlier for Lacey Evans, but I also mentioned it for Roman Reigns. So I feel like I'm sort of balancing it out here. Yeah. Is Charlotte Flair gorgeous?
I would say so.
Really?
Yeah.
When you're standing her next to Becky Lynch?
Yeah, definitely. All day long.
No.
Yeah. All day long.
I'm glad we found something else to disagree on. Really?
Yeah. Easily.
I would. You know what? I would have her in the bottom half of stuff.
Wow. Incredible. You wear glasses, right?
Yeah, I do wear glasses.
You need to put them on when you're watching Raw. You need to put them on when you're watching wrestling.
This is the great thing about people having different opinions on when a match they're looking, I guess. Just to point this out, that this is one you get a lot of guys online that go, so and so is ugly. No, mate, I don't think men are ugly.
No.
Charlotte Flair certainly isn't ugly. The Josh and well attractive, you know. Even Nia Jax has a nice face sometimes. But yeah, it always makes me laugh because there are. I wouldn't say there's many ugly women that are attractive. You know, camera.
Yeah, of course they are.
You know, even the best wrestlers. But yeah, Becky Lynch is going to win.
We will see, but I don't see it. I hope not.
What I really like is in the three most important matches of the night, me and you have completely disagreed.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
If I can think of an interesting forfeit for us between now and the start of WrestleMania,
yes,
would you want to put it on the event as a whole, or do we put it on these three matches?
These three matches make it
these
easier.
Three matches.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking of is is a silly photo thing where.
Okay.
Like, this is me and an ex of mine. She was a Man City supporter.
Yeah.
And I'm a Chelsea supporter. I'm sat literally in a Chelsea shirt right now. And so we had a bet on that whichever team won more trophies. And again, this is a very privileged bet. It's not one that you're going to be putting on with someone. But it was whoever won more trophies in that season won, and the loser had to put a picture on Facebook of them wearing a football shirt.
Alright, so we'll have to think of something that can be like that.
Gotta think of something similar.
Okay.
Because like me getting you wearing a Chelsea shirt, I don't think it would bother you that much. You're not,
No.
and I don't know how I would get a Barnsley t-shirt.
All good shops sell Barnsley tops, mate. In Barnsley.
If a Barnsley club shop sells Barnsley shirts.
That's it. That's as far as it goes.
I will think of something.
Cool. Nice one, mate.
Yeah, I will. I'm just going to spend the rest of my week just trying to think of a good fish there. So on that note, it's been great having you on.
It's been good, mate.
Nice to talk to you again on the podcast. Hopefully, we'll be able to get you back on.
Depending on the results.
If you don't decide you're suddenly busy.
Yeah.
I need to do my outro. I've got it all written down here. Social media links. You can find me Twitter and Instagram. It's at Brazier25. You can find the Life Junkies on Twitter at the_Life Junkies, or the Life Junkies on Facebook, which is the Life Junkies 25. You can also find our website. I do blogs on there occasionally when I can be bothered. It's the Life Junkies 25 at wordpress.com. Back episodes of this podcast are available on YouTube, not on your local podcast provider, because I cannot pay for the bandwidth. So, if it's your first time hearing us, you've enjoyed what you've listened to, then go to our YouTube channel to find more. Just search the Life Junkies on YouTube. If you are listening to this on YouTube itself, then we'll probably be in the last 20 seconds of this video, which means videos will be popping up on the screen. Both videos I talked about in this podcast will be up there. So the Roman Reigns video and the WWE title belt revamp video, I will make sure they're both up on the screen for you, if I remember. And if you listened to this and enjoyed it, thank you very much. Please like, share and subscribe if you can. And hope you come back and listen next time. Thank you. Thank you, Chris, for coming on.
Cheers, mate.
And goodbye from me.